Hey everyone, this is Nitro. In this video, I'm going to talk about the major update of February, and events that it contains as well as the banner. Alright, so first off, I believe everyone is probably most interested in the banner, Augury of Light, so I'll go over the banner first before talking about the other stuff. The banner, Augury of Light, offers Mariel and Light of Genesis. I've already summoned for both on this banner, and realistically the question of whether you summon heavily on this banner depends now very much on where you want to go from here. Keep in mind that next month has Hilda and Werner, and the next month banner of Hilda and Werner has that critical Hilda character, because Hilda can be considered, let's say, the building block of the next generation of Apex teams, potentially, because she is the tank for the Reincarnation faction, while also being part of Empire and Strategists. So what that means is, kind of like how Landius has long been the tank and the building block of anyone who plays the US Legends faction, Hilda will be the tank and faction buffer of the Reincarnation faction. So if you plan to play Reincarnation, you very much need Hilda. Right? Now, it's worth noting that the two heroes of this current banner, Light of Genesis and Mariel, are both part of Reincarnation. So really, like, if you plan to play Reincarnation, so looking at the heroes here, if you plan to use, let's say, Arianrod, Ares, Lolijess, Mariel, Noemi, Florentia, Licorice, and so on and so forth, Rosalia, then you very much need to get Hilda on that next banner. So you might want to just drop for, let's say, 1 and hope you get Light of Genesis on this banner. Similarly, if you plan to play, let's say, Empire in the future, right, with Bernhard becoming powerful and so on, and having Rosenseal and Clotaire and so on, then you probably want to skip this banner and then actually get Hilda potentially on the next banner anyways, because Hilda being part of the Empire faction means that she can be a potential tank for Empire, potentially anyways. So that's why this banner is in some ways optional. It really depends on what you want to play in your Apex box in the following seasons. With that said, Light of Genesis and Mariel are both very, very top tier. Like, for example, Light of Genesis can be used even without a faction buffer, because her talent has this very interesting effect where if she sorry, let me just bring this up. Okay, there we go. So from her 3C, if an assist skill has been used this round and there is at least one friendly unit adjacent after taking action, you get to act again. Okay. So what that means is, for example, if she brings her own strengthen skill, she is allowed to strengthen herself, right? And as long as she's next to someone, she can act again and attack. Similarly, she can also bring teleport, because teleport is also an assist skill. So she can teleport an ally forward and then launch her attack, and in the following turn that ally can follow up or something like that. So her 3C allows her a lot of combos, the Light's Embrace, making her very, very versatile and useful. As for Mariel, Mariel is actually a really, really unique character. I'll explain much more about her in my way to build video, but in brief, what she can do is, due to her talent, she can basically launch out an attack when she has the commandment buff that she starts off with, and then after actively attacking, she loses the command buff and acts again. In other words, she can attack once and then act again and attack a second time. And her skills are pretty darn powerful. Like, she has, for example, if you bring her 3C, which has a cooldown of 7, which is insane, but if you bring her 3C, when she launches it out as her first attack, she gets a buff that allows her to ignore guard for her follow-up attack. So her first attack will hit someone that's guarded, doing a good amount of damage, and then her second attack will allow her to ignore guard strike someone else. So both heroes are very, very deadly in PvP as a result of this. I would say Lolijess is basically top tier for both PvP and PvE as a mage who can get like 3 or 4 range, and Mariel seems to be much more of a PvE PvP-oriented character. So that's the banner in a nutshell. I'll go over ways to build them in a separate video, of course, and let's move on to talk about the other events. The second event is Gacha Love Delivery. So it's going to be Valentine's Day soon, right? On February the 14th. So we have the, I guess, Valentine's event as a result. This Valentine's event is, well, it's an old school style event, right? You have the level 35, 45, and 55 missions. You're allowed to get daily reward chance of doubling twice a day. So every day you're going to want to do 2 battles of, let's say, level 55 to get the points. And then the more points you earn, the more rewards you get. And your ultimate goal is to earn the, I guess, 90,000 points. And this is to unlock everything here. The event gives Varna shards for what it's worth. So, as well as, you know, the usual SSR items and gold and so on and so forth. There is, I believe, there is no Aniki items in this event, unfortunately, which is what I'm personally most desperate for. But overall, can't complain. A lot of good rewards. And other than the daily grind of 2 battles, you also have the various stages. So there's going to be some plot battle stages, and then some, you know, the story stages for 7 days. And then after that will be the 5 challenge stages that you can do. And the event, obviously, is showing off Varna's skin, her Valentine skin, where she has some cream on her face. And it also should show the Rachel skin. If you go back in and out several times, I believe you'll see the Rachel skin. Because I saw it a few times. Let's see. There we go. So here we are. And this is the Rachel skin. So given that both of those skins are being shown right now, I expect the 2 skins to become available in the store sometime soon. We'll wait and see. In addition to those 2 skins that I'm expecting, in the store right now, there is also, surprisingly, a pretty recent skin that was released even on the Chinese server, Luna's winter skin. So she's in a kimono, you know, a winter style kimono, holding an umbrella. Her flyer class is riding on like a pigeon, and her bow knight class is riding on a doe. So it is, I personally prefer her other skins, like her wedding skin, for example, but I think the sprite for this one is top tier. And the skin is fairly cheap at 118 skin vouchers, as opposed to 188. Like for a while, I was considering maybe buying the skin to use the sprite while I used the wedding skin in the hero page. But after thinking about it, my skin vouchers have rapidly decreased already. I only have 574 now. And if I plan to buy both skins, both of the Valentine skins, those are supposed to be 188 skin vouchers each. So that will actually just leave me with 198 skin vouchers after that. And so I'm not going to buy this Luna skin as a result. I'm going to want to hold on to those skin vouchers, probably for other future skins, like let's say the Ares World War II pilot skin, right? Or the Lana, you know, dress skin. So there's other heroes that I want skins for, you know, who don't have skins at all right now. So I'd rather get skins for them instead of adding another skin to Luna, who I only use for PvE content. Also in the store, I guess, I mean, there's 3 new gift packs, being a major update, of course. It's the usual gift packs. One is the custom exclusive equipment box. One is a huge Trinity voucher box, and then one is the class mastery supply box. Not much needs to be said about those because those are actually really, really standard. So a few more things added with this update. Secret Realm Store. We have 2 new exclusives here. The first one is Midsummer Memory for Elucia. This item kind of raises Elucia to a top level tank. Okay. First of all, before being forced into battle, it applies Tidal Surge to self. So she's considered, basically as long as she's attacked, she's considered to be in water. And when in water, takes all attacks for friendly units within 1 ring of her. So it's a very, very useful item. As for the Dustbuster, This one is Maya Special, and it has a lot of good effects for Maya. First, her movement type is changed to flying. Secondly, AoE skills can clear enemy terrain effects from blocks being hit. And after taking action, dispels 1 debuff from all friendly units within 2 blocks. It's a great item for Maya, raising her to top tier as well. Like, Hobo and Licorice terrain effects are really annoying, and she now has the ability to clear them. And in addition, she is dispelling debuffs from characters, which is always useful. And finally, if I scroll down to my Maya, I'm not sure where I have her actually. Oh, at the very bottom. Okay. So if I scroll down to my Maya, the other thing is her AoEs, when she deals damage to enemies, she can dispel buffs from the enemies as well. And her talent inherently also dispels debuffs from allies. So it makes Maya like a very versatile character. Terrain effect clearing, effective dispelling, flying for decent mobility, and yeah, it just makes Maya a much more usable character. I mean, she is already usable, but with that said, not very many people have Maya built, me included, so I don't expect this item to be purchased by a lot of people, but anyone who has Maya will definitely buy it. And then the final thing to mention would be the 3C skills. Now, obviously, the 2 new heroes got 3Cs, so Light of Genesis and Mariel both got 3Cs, but the new 3Cs that have been added with this update are the following ones. First of all, Shafaniel gets one, and Shafaniel's 3C is actually really darn good. Divine Judgment. So it's like a Heaven Sanction, basically, except it does a bit more damage, 0.38 times damage, and it also dispels 2 buffs from allies and is super effective against demons. In addition, when you're hitting demon heroes, the demon heroes are stunned for 1 turn. And if you hit 3 or more enemies, the skill's cooldown is reduced by 1 turn. And finally, if you eliminate an enemy with this skill, the skill's cooldown is reduced by yet another turn. So what that means is her talent at 6 stars reduces the cooldown of the skill by 3. If you hit 3 enemies, it reduces the cooldown by yet another 1. So that leaves from a 5-turn cooldown to a 1-turn cooldown. And if you actually kill someone with this, then all 5 turns of the cooldown is eliminated. So it would have no cooldown effect at all. So very, very powerful skill. Definitely a superior Heaven Sanction is what this is. I would unlock it, but as you guys just saw, I don't have the materials to do so right now. So I need some of these pure continental hearts and pure monsoon hearts. So I'm going to have to hope I get some of these hearts from the time traveling merchant or from an event or something like that. The second 3C that is released, is Iris gets a 3C now. So this 3C, right, it's like, I believe it's basically an improved version of her Dolly skill. Okay. It teleports herself, right, and it heals all friendly units from a 4-block radius for 3 times her intelligence, and also dispels 3 debuffs from those allies. Also grants her, Iris herself, the following effect. After taking action, heals friendly units within a 2-block radius for an amount equals to 2.5 times her int and dispels 1 debuff, lasts 3 turns. So compared to the Dolly one, it's like an improvement all around, right? The Dolly one only heals allies within 2 blocks for 2 times her int and lasts 2 turns. Right? This new one heals more. Oops. So your initial teleport will heal 4-block radius with 3 times int heal and dispel 3 debuff. And then her follow-up heals is 2.5 times better than 2 and dispels 1 debuff at all times. So it's just it's like a general purpose improvement on the previous existing skill, making you most likely want to bring it over Mass Heal. So instead of bringing Heal, Mass Heal, and Le Jardin d'Iris, you'd probably bring Heal, Le Jardin d'Iris, and her 3C now. It does make it more difficult to use skills like Shield and Mass Resist on her, but still. It gives her more versatility and more options. And the very final 3C skill is for a hero I'm not entirely sure I even have. I think I do. It's for Betty. Yes, I do have Betty. So there she is. So Betty also unlocks a 3C, Blade Storm. So the passive is that it blocks fatal AoE skill damage, which can trigger 3 times a battle. Alright. So, and after a friendly unit within talent range is attacked, the attacker and 2 enemies within 3 blocks are afflicted with the following effect. Damage dealt is decreased by 15%, lasts 1 turn. And then when you use it as an active skill, it does have a 2 ring span, and it deals 0.3 times AoE damage to all enemies within 2 rings of her, and deals fixed damage equals to 1 times Betty's attack. Also renders them unable to receive healing for 2 turns. So, in other words, the active version is very, very similar to, let's say, Bernhardt's 3C. Very similar to Bernhardt's Sword Dance, except with 1 extra ring. So Blade Storm is, in other words, quite a powerful skill because it begins with 2 ring. So if you equip a balanced blade on her, it's a 3 ring AoE that does fixed damage after combat and renders characters unable to receive healing. So very, very deadly. It raises Betty into a much, much more usable hero, that's for sure. And since she is part of Empire and Dark, and those factions are kind of like the upcoming AoE factions, Betty becomes surprisingly good, I would say. Her only difficulty at this point would potentially be dealing with single target magic attacks. That would probably be her biggest weakness, that she can probably be killed by long range single target magic strikes. But if you have a tank that can protect her, then that might not be an issue. Okay, so talked about the exclusives, talked about the 3C, talked about the store items. I think that covers everything. Oh no, there's one last thing I have to mention. I knew there was something I missed. The last thing is, of course, Time Rift 17 is now out. So the Langrisser 5 first volume is out. So start clearing it, because Time Rifts always give rewards, right? Such as extra Trinity Crystals, extra Trinity Vouchers, rare enchant packs, and we'll see what the elite mode gives. Right? But lots of rewards to clear. I mean, I'm just going to be doing 3 battles a day, so I already did 17.1 and 17.2. Today I'll do 17.3. The next day I'll do 17.4, so I'll slowly work my way through the Time Rifts. I'm not really in a rush to clear them all in one day, but these additional rewards will certainly help for if you need to draw on banners and so on and so forth. Alright, and that is everything with this update. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you found this information useful to you. And on that note, Nitro out.